What is good, Bills Mafia? My name's Colin. This is Crack the Table, and today I'm going to be talking about 3 moves that indicate kind of where the defensive backs are in the new 53-man roster that's now established for the Buffalo Bills in 2025. But hey, I just want to welcome you. If you're watching this video, maybe you're new to this channel, maybe you're new to just hearing my voice on YouTube. I'm kind of a new content creator here in the Bills space, and I'm just a Bills fan who wants to bring daily content on YouTube for you so that you're up to date on every single thing that's happening in the Buffalo Bills world. And I'm trying to stay up to date on all my sources, trying to stay up to date on all the content. And I just want to make actionable content week in and week out, but day in really and day out. And if you're new here, I just want to invite you again, hit the like, hit the subscribe, welcome aboard. I want to engage with every single comment that you post on here. And so really as the roster cuts have been, getting out and we've been seeing players make the team, like I got to talk about Tyrell Shavers again. And if you haven't seen the video that I made a couple weeks ago on him, go watch the video. It's the one with the Jameson Williams thumbnail, but go check out that video. This guy is going to be incredible. But we've made 3 other moves that I want to talk about today. And the first one actually has to do with the tweet we have up here of Dane Jackson. Dane Jackson, yes, as the tweet says, he's an awesome guy, but the writing was on the wall, right? If you ever see a guy playing long into the preseason finale of any given year in August, you're assuming that either our team is trying to make a strategic move where they're getting some more tape of this guy out so that they can trade him off for a 6th or a 7th round pick or something else. Like usually that's the case. Now, in that sense, though, what it ultimately leads me to think with Dane Jackson is that actually he probably won't be on the practice squad because I think they were trying to get tape out on him so they could potentially trade him. Now, again, Matthew on this tweet here thinks that he, potentially could go on the practice squad. Well, he would love him to be on the practice squad. I'm just not sure he's going to be, though. And again, at the same time, maybe the positives of that sort of interaction or that sort of roster signing for the practice squad would be something like a guy who knows the system, a guy who knows Bobby Babbitt's system, who's been around camp for the last handful of months and has been around and knows even Sean McDermott and how this defense runs and how these DBs are coordinated together. So there could be some advantage with that. But again, Dane Jackson just really hasn't proved with any level of consistency that he can be a cornerback on our roster. Now, we're thin, of course, at corner, but again, this is where I think a guy like Dane Jackson really needed to prove that he can be more consistent, that he can be a potential starting level player, but he didn't prove that. And it's obvious by our cornerbacks and our safeties that this guy was not going to make the roster. But actually, that leads us, I think, to our second corresponding move, which I want to talk about is a guy who we drafted in the first round this year, Maxwell Hairston. And he, as we found out today, through the wire, he was put on short-term IR. Now, about a month ago, he had that terrible LCL sprain, and we all thought it was over, right? I was watching Hard Knocks before I even saw the news, just like, oh my goodness, this guy's going to be down. Bad news bears for us. We spent another first round pick on a corner. Guy doesn't work out. Guy's not able to play. And with Kyer Elam being gone and with some of the other guys the last couple of years, Rasul Douglas now signing with the Dolphins today, which again, the Dolphins can take any cornerback that we have or that we don't need anymore. That's fine with me. But again, like with a guy like Kyer Elam, with Rasul Douglas, and like just needing some star power in the cornerback room, losing Maxwell Harrison to an LCL sprain, potentially at the time thinking it was the whole season that he was going to be gone, was terrifying, especially with the fact that the pool of cornerbacks and defensive backs and even just as the safety room was thin. Like we really need some talent back there. But also the really good news on top of that he wasn't, as far as we knew, going to be missing an extended amount of time. Now, we were kind of in the dark. I don't know if it was strategic or maybe the play isn't quite there, isn't quite revealed to us. But ultimately, he was placed on the short-term IR, which means he's at least going to miss the first 4 games of the season, which again is good news and it's bad news. Again, the good news is that he's got the designation to return later this season. So what the coaches were saying that he will probably return later on after he's healthy is a net positive, right? He should be back later, which means he's going to have more time as a rookie, to get acclimated to the scheme, to get acclimated to coaches, get acclimated to really what we want to accomplish in our secondary, but also it does take him some time away from maybe meaningful reps, which is its own loss. But again, we don't want him to drink from a fire hose and be burnt out by the time week 10, 11, 12, 13 comes around. We want him to be fresh for the second half of the season. I think so often, like we see a lot of rookies, especially in a position like cornerback that's exceptionally hard and has an exceptionally high skill cap, especially in their first season of the NFL. But that leads me to our third and final bit of news, which I actually think is good news, which is an indication that I'm actually drawing and inferring from this second move of Maxwell Hairston being put on short-term IR. And the third move is this. I don't think Trey White is going to be out for much longer. It's becoming evident to me that the team could have chosen to put him also on short-term injured reserve, but they didn't. And so while they did with one, they did not with the other. Why would they not do one why would they do one and not the other? One, I think Maxwell Hairston's injury is pretty serious, and I think they do need to take more time. But with Trey White, I think he might even be ready for the beginning of the year against the Ravens, which again, that would be pretty massive for us as we go and play a really good AFC team that, frankly, if not in the divisional round, might be in the AFC Championship this next year if all things go according to plan with their team and their injuries. They're a great team, and having a cornerback like Trey White ready to go in that game could be massive for our squad. But again, those are the three things. Dane Jackson getting let go. We'll see if he joins up on the practice squad. We'll see what corresponding move is associated with that. We've got Maxwell Hairston getting put on short-term IR. And then, of course, we have Trey White not given an injury designation, which could mean that he is going to be back sooner than later, which ultimately, again, could power us into the AFC matchup, which is going to, again, long-term, I think, be a playoff matchup, could long-term really matter for playoff seeding. We really need him to play early on in the season. We want Trey White back early in the season. But again, hey, I'm Colin. This is Crack the Table. We're all Bills, no breaks. Again, if you're new to the channel, if you love these quick little breakdowns, these quick little news blips and feeds, just like and subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow. We've got more content, again, coming out every single day. See you later.